about this crossover event and all that. Of course, about earlier. I mean, let's dive into Scott. So he's supporting the channel. I personally believe Supergirl will be in the 5-episode event. So regardless of what you say, Canada, he is going to believe. I think Black Lightning is a foregone conclusion just because of the fact that Cress already talked about it already.
I'd be surprised if Cress isn't in it at this point.
Yeah, I don't think Sarah's going to be in it. I think White Canary is not going to happen.
Yeah, I originally had a list of 5 that I thought would be the most probable. Cress, Javicia, if they can work it, Tyler, because it'll be questionable about how the schedules line up, because his season will be literally ending like 2 weeks before they start. So I don't know if he's going to want to stick around 2 extra weeks to do a day of guest star work, right?
Yeah.
So I thought like Cress and Javicia are basically a slam dunk. I think they'll find a way to make Stargirl work. I thought originally Naomi, but people are telling me she's not supposed to be connected to the Arrowverse. But I'm kind of like, they have to introduce her somewhere, somehow. So is she or isn't she?
Yeah. And her show's been
the 5th one was always a toss-up for me. The 5th one, I think, could be a Legends person. But I think that spot is probably unofficially held open for if Melissa wants to do it. And if Melissa doesn't want to do it, they go to whatever their plan B is. And their plan B could be a different Supergirl character or someone from Legends. Legends will have already started filming by the time they film.
They could bring Alex and what's her name? Who's
Kelly?
Who's now who's the new Guardian? Just bring them in.
Maybe. I think a lot of people have their heart set on Dreamer and Brainy though, because that's kind of most people are kind of like trying to rally for a crossover or not crossover, a spin-off with them. And I think out of the most marketable people they have right now, that probably is kind of the one that, you know, makes the most sense. So if they're looking to test the waters and see if there's interest, that would be a good place to start it, you know?
Yeah. Or at least have them pop up in it. He also is asking curious, what do we think of this, what the special event will be? I don't know. I mean, it sounds like it's just going to be like 5 episodes of just like story arcs. Like just like beginning and ending with the episodes. I don't feel like, because it feels like to me that these are not, it's not like a giant crossover event on the Flash where all these characters are going to interact in every single episode. It sounds like there's going to be an episode dedicated to certain characters or one character, and then we're going to move on to something else. I could be wrong.
I think that's true. I think there's probably going to be a loosely connected thing going on. But it's not like a crisis story where you have to know everything that happened in part 1 and part 2 to get to part 3. You could probably jump into part 3 if you're only a Black Lightning fan and you know Cress is in part 3. You probably can just jump into part 3 and not need to know what 1 and 2 said, you know?
Yeah, because I feel like they're not going to have like Crisis where you have to watch every episode in order to understand the story. I feel like that's not, because like the way they explained it, they're not saying this is the next crossover event for the CW. That they're just saying we're having a special 5 episodes for Flash, like basically the first 5 episodes of season 8 in 2021 is going to be these episodes.
Yeah,
and then I'm guessing break, and then 2022 January, February, whenever
regular Flash season.
Then they'll start. Yeah, then they'll come back and start the arc, whatever it's going to be. Probably fighting people taking photographs when they're not supposed to, and taking down photographers. And turns out Canada is he's a speedster too.
It's funny you bring up the villain being a photographer, because unrelated to the Arrowverse, but last night I was on a set for a movie they're doing about Harry and Meghan. And one of the things they were doing was a recreation of the Diana crash scene.
Oh, shit.
We were photographers photographing that. Like, that was the scene they were doing. So it was a very weird...
You were photographers, you were taking pictures of the people taking the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Very weird scene to be photographing.
And it's funny you asked this question, Rex, because it turns out Canada was the one who got to see it the first. He was the first person to see it.
I technically saw most of it, except I saw it in pieces because I only saw him from like the logo up, from the head up, and then I got to see the pants down when he showed up, and then I got to see like the middle part later from the stunt double. So I got to see him in like pieces, but I never got to see it in its entirety in one shot until that promo photo, which looked sharp, by the way.
Well, once they just dropped that out of nowhere, I went back because I remember you had posted saying major spoiler for Batwoman. So I'm like, I'm not gonna click on that because I'm not caught up. But then okay, they dropped this out of nowhere. There's Batwing, and I'm thinking, okay. So I go back and like, yep, that's exactly what you caught. You had Batwing. Yeah. You got it way before. And why? Isn't it supposed to be a surprise, or are they really setting that up clear as day on the show? Because I'm not caught up. But
fans asking for this, like aggressively asking for this for a while. I mean, I pay a bit of attention to the Batwoman fans just because I'm liking the show. I acknowledge the variety of flaws it has, but so does almost every show in the Arrowverse. So you know, yeah. But the fans have just been for a while be like, it's like the Barry with the gold boots question. Everybody keeps asking, is Cameron's going to become Batwing? Luke's going to become Batwing? When's he going to be, like, all the time? So I think they're probably aware their ratings are a little on the downside right now, and they're like, whatever we can do to even claw back 3% of that is something, you know. I mean that makes sense. Wait, you're not caught up, so I won't say what last episode had. But there was a flashback, or not a flashback, a dream sequence that had a character in it that, I mean, if they had promoted it, might have drawn some fans in. But
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like
I just think they're aware right now they kind of have to get some of their fans back, you know?
I'm wondering too, because like, it's not because I'm not interested enough. I'm so busy with I'm doing a lot of things that I really just can't sit there and catch up on a show like that. But like the Ghost, she had no interest in watching the show once Ruby left because she was so used to Ruby as Kate. So when I told her there was a new Batwoman, a new character being created, she's like, okay. She didn't care. But then I told her, they recasted Kate with Wallace Day, and I was telling her all this stuff about, you know, that she was fan casted early on after Ruby left, and all that. And I showed her, like, here's Wallace Day, here she is, and then she's like, she has no, like, she completely lost interest. I feel like that's a certain amount of people lost complete interest because it's not Kate Kane anymore. But then they bring Kate Kane back, so. I don't know. I feel like maybe they should have promoted it more because I really didn't hear much about, Kate Kane's back. Or like,
I think part of that is they're trying to keep the mystery. It's just like, I mean, they went on the break. You were not necessarily caught up, but you have an idea about Luke being shot, right?
Yeah, I heard about it. I don't know the context of it, but I heard people saying,
for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, there was the will he die thing because they were on break for 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
Come on, anybody that watches these shows even slightly or pays attention to their social media knew obviously he wasn't going to, you know. But you know that's what they're just trying to keep the mystery. So I think some of it with the Wallace Day as Ruby Rose thing, they're trying to keep the mystery, not necessarily for the fans that are on the internet every single day and know every detail there is about the show, but for the casual fan who doesn't check Twitter to see what's happening with the Batwoman show, right?
Or doesn't check to see that they released that Luke's become Batwing.
Right. The end of the day, as I mean, we live kind of in this bubble where we're always surrounded by all these people that know everything that's going on with the show.
Yeah.
Fans in your message board, fans on Twitter, everywhere. They already know if they're searching out content on YouTube or Twitter or Instagram, they already have an inkling what is going on with the show. They're not being spoiled technically, really, because they already have 3/4 of a clue. But there's still the minority of people that watch the show. 80% of the people that watch the show just click on the TV on Sunday night and watch it. They're not searching out fan theories and that stuff at the end of it.
They're not. So
like, they're still going to be surprised.
Yeah, they go to work. They come home. They don't check Facebook or Twitter or Instagram about posts or updates on the. They don't, because for example, my mom and stepdad, they watch a ton of shows. My stepdad for the longest time watched Supergirl religiously. Don't know why. He wouldn't watch anything else, but he'd watch Supergirl. And it's like he had no idea what was happening. He had no idea what was coming. He just watched the show. As is, he would DVR it at times if he couldn't watch it live, but he would sit there and watch it. And it'd be funny because I told him he's like, okay, so the crossover coming up, you got to watch these other shows in this order. And he go, okay. And then he would watch them, but he just had no idea. It just wasn't a thing to where he
I mean, most fans, whenever I run across someone and I tell them what I do, and they're like, "Oh, I watch that show," they know nothing outside of seeing what's on the television already. The day-to-days of what's going on behind the scenes, they're oblivious to. I had someone literally just last week. I had someone just last week. We were talking about the Flash, and they didn't know why Elongated Man wasn't on the show anymore. We're how many months removed from that? I thought everybody watching that should know that by now, right?
Well,
so there's those type of people still out there.
That's true because they never explained what happened to Elongated Man besides just a little nod here and there. Like they never came out and rightly said, okay, well, Hartley's no longer on the show anymore. They just wrote him off and then just said, okay, and they reshot stuff and just got rid of him. So that is shocking though, because it's been a while. But then again, they brought back Elongated Man, kind of,
At the end of the day, I mean, if their consumption of entertainment news outside of what they see in the show is maybe a blip on Entertainment Tonight or a little snippet in the newspaper, let's be honest, Harley Sawyer getting fired didn't make either of those.
No. It was only online.
Oblivious.
Yeah. It was only online. It was like in Variety, Deadline, all that. But once the news was out there, then we all moved on. There was other things to report on and stuff. So eventually,
we were in the middle of a pandemic. People were like, you know what? Who cares about Harley Sawyer anymore?
Yeah, they moved on. And so, but they found a way to bring him back with Sue. I even forgot they did that because it's been so long. But they brought him back, not Hartley, but they brought the character back and found a way to have him not show his face. And they had Sue, and then they're gone again. So it's like, okay.
Yep.
How did you feel about the Cisco goodbye episode? I'm curious because there was some
mostly good.
Okay. There were some people that were mixed on that whole episode.
And here's the thing. I understand some of that frustration because I went into the episode thinking it was going to be a really deep emotional episode because you're saying goodbye to a character who's been on the show for 7 years and we know he's leaving. I expected it to be all the feels all the way through the episode, and instead they hit us with this fun, episode with a handful of feels. And I think a lot of people went in thinking it was going to be like most goodbye episodes. Most goodbye episodes are, full of the, look backs. They're full of, oh, this is why the person's leaving, saying their goodbyes to each person individually. Then, like, that's almost the cookie cutter way of how a goodbye episode goes. And we didn't get that. I liked it because it was one of the most fun episodes there was once it got going. I think the first 5 or 10 minutes, I kind of wasn't fully feeling it yet. But once I got to the point where Cisco got whammied by Rain, I just enjoyed what was going on for a while, And at the end, I think the other thing I would have a criticism of, I realized they had a uphill thing, but it didn't connect with the leaving a karaoke scene.
Yeah. I was gonna pull this.
We're watching them have fun in a karaoke scene, and then 3 seconds later, we're in this gloomy, sad, mad, weird. And I didn't like that, but I realized I have to put that in there somewhere, you know.
That makes sense. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, that face. That face.
Yes. I'm not joking. When I have time someday, like before the season starts, I'm going and screen capping that photo to try and get signed by him, because that is one of the most ridiculous things. That whole scene was just pure joy.
They're friends.
Yeah, I saw that on your Twitter.
I couldn't help myself. Did you see where I posted one about where he's the new Joker? All these Jokers, and then there's
no, I don't think I did.
Yeah, right there. He's the new Joker. I couldn't help myself. I just love how that scene played out so much, because they had Cisco looking, and then you had the camera focused on Caitlin, and then she's like, then she turns us slowly, and the camera slowly pans to him staring with that face. Oh my gosh, it was so hilarious. I still laugh at it.
Such a psycho smile face.
Like, I laugh every single time I see it.
Yeah, so did I. Like, all the reactions I watched, if they had cut that scene, I would have been like, what's wrong with you? Because I don't care what other part of the episode you want to put in, you have to have that turnaround and just him like I can't do that smile, you know?
I had to keep it because I cut a bit of it, but me and Shelby were laughing so hard at that. Like, we couldn't, like, it was so ridiculous, because like I was just like thinking of the way they framed it, and the way he basically, it's implying he's gonna stand there and keep smiling and just stare until Caitlin turns around. He's just gonna continue to stand still, just like, Jesus. And like I was telling her,
when Cisco goes to him, goes, "Did you catch the bad lady?" And he's like, "Nope, and I didn't want to." Like,
and I think in the face,
I was already done with that. I was already done with the goofy, funny look on his face. But after that, I was just like, "Oh my! I need 3 minutes to get over this."
And I was telling her, because I was showing it her again last night. Just like I was just replaying it for her. I'm like, this is so stupid. But I was telling her, if he was told to recreate that face, I don't know if he could exactly as it was. Because to me, it was too perfect. For some reason, it just hit for some reason. And like you said, did you stop the bad lady? Nope, I didn't want to. And just the way his voice, it was so good. And then the breakdancing, which funny, that clip of him breakdancing went all over Twitter, because of course people were tweeting about it, saying, what did this show come to? And it's like, you're not showing the context of why he's breakdancing and why he's yeah, it's all about cutting out the context and just showing what you consider cringy for likes and retweets.
So
whatever.
Here's a funny thing. I know you're more of a comic book guy. When the show first started, I had to read up on what all these characters are about.
Yeah.
I explicitly remember reading up on Cisco/Vibe, and one of his skills is break dancing, and we didn't get Cisco break dancing. How'd the writers miss this?
It's so funny, because Vibe is such a comedic character that literally that was something they would always laugh about Vibe in the comics, is that he's a breakdancer. They just thought it was so ridiculous. So they should have had him breakdance. They should have. Yeah.
I know. Like, I think that was a big missed opportunity.
Do you think that any of that was Grant, or do you think it was all stunt double doing those breakdances?
I actually don't know. I mean, Grant's obviously got a musical dance background, and I've seen him on set. He's very agile. Like, he's an agile guy. He could have that skill set, but I don't know if he does.
Yo, I'm wondering if some of it was him and others, because I feel like there's a couple of shots you can tell it's not him, but I'm wondering how much of it, if there's any of him doing it.
Maybe. So. I mean, here's the thing I do know. I know what his stunt double looks like his regular everyday stunt double, the one that takes the big bumps and bruises. He definitely wasn't in any of those scenes, because his hair is kind of more reddish with a little gray in it. Yeah. And they wouldn't have dyed it just for. So I know he wasn't in it. So if they got someone else with like dark hair to do some of those stunts that's got a breakdancing background, I guess that's possible. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, I think he probably did some of the, at least maybe the basic stuff, because he's a very agile guy. He's got a dance background and all that stuff. He's capable of some at least basic moves, you know.
Yeah, I was worried about that because I thought it was, I like it probably could be him. Yeah, I felt like and I'm wondering if you know about this, if it's like a restriction or something. I know people are wondering, and definitely the Ghost was wondering, why did they not have all a party together? Why was there two separate parties? And I think it's because of COVID restrictions. I
believe that is probably the case. There's a couple reasons I think. I think that could have been a very large reason. Because I know early in the season, early in the season, you could not have a scene with, I want to say 6. I think it was 6 was the number. Might have even been less. Might have been 5. But there was a maximum amount you were allowed on a stage at a studio, because those scenes would have been in studio. There was a maximum amount you were allowed on stage in a studio in X amount of space. Like there was this weird dynamic number per foot thing that they had, right? Could have been that still. I don't actually know for sure. The other thing I thought is it gives a chance for those that couldn't sing to not be there just sitting being potatoes in the scene, you know?
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they did have Danielle in the scene, but I think the only reason Danielle maybe was in the scene is when they cut the scene. It's an easy cut to have the citizen people all be in one scene, and then an easy cut for OG Team Flash to be all in one scene. It's an easy cut there, and Danielle maybe doesn't have the singing background, but instead of having 5 people sitting there doing nothing, you have 1. You know,
you notice that it was 4 and 4, and Chester was nowhere at all. Like
Chester was out nerding out in his new
So maybe they were like trying to make it to where let's balance it out. Let's have 4 and 4, because if they have, let's say Chester was at the karaoke thing, then it would have been 1 less person at the goodbye. What's her name? Camilla. Like, I feel like it would have been obvious. So they had to find a way to get rid of Chester and split it. But also, too, I think it makes sense to have Caitlin there, even though she didn't sing. It was because OG, they made Cisco reference it. In the flashback stuff, they kept showing OG Team Flash and those flashbacks towards the end. And then when Cisco says, OG Team Flash solving 1 more case, you got to have Caitlin there at the end. Because if you're not going to have a scene, because I was expecting a scene of Kamala and Cisco, getting on an airplane or driving away. I was driving away.
I think in the regular context of how a goodbye episode is, we all assume something along those lines would be the last goodbye and all that. But
so since they didn't do that, they got to have at least Caitlin there in the last scene with them all together. Because Cisco's not going to come.
I had heard, I don't know this to be a fact, but I've heard through Twitter and other things, allegedly, Carlos had some input on how to do the finale. They basically said to him, this is your final episode. What would you like about it? And it was his decision to make it light and fun. So I wonder if he had other, inputs we need an OG Team Flash moment at the end. He might have had that decision too.
And they probably said, okay, well, here's things we can't do because of restrictions. So what can we do instead? And so the idea of them wearing classic Cisco shirts, karaoke, having fun. Because, because what I was telling her, and I think I said in my video too, that Cisco is a comedic relief character. He is a character you love to watch because he's always, for the most part, besides when he gets all pissy at Barry and stuff, he during not Elseworlds, during Invasion, that whole storyline where he was so mad at Barry for screwing with the timeline.
But that's just CW needs to have some drama.
Yes. But he's a comedic relief character, so it makes sense that his episode had a meta that made everybody go crazy and have fun. So that was interesting. And I say they brought back the binder he made last season now, and all that work he did, it didn't matter because we don't go back to it. Except for now, are we ever going to go back to again? Let's go to Cisco's binder. Let's look up who this villain is going to be. I don't.
Yeah, and that's funny because I mean, he didn't need the binder to tell Team Flash about this. All he had to be like, remember Rainbow Raider? That's all he had to say. But they wanted to get the binder in there for the nostalgia effect.
Exactly. And then having the room full of stuff from previous seasons, like the treadmill.
Yeah, there's some great callbacks in there. And Chester fanboying out over it, just made it from like here to here, you know.
They're basically having Chester be the audience, like, oh shit, it's because I was like, oh, because he's like, is that the treadmill? And as soon as Chester like, oh, that's the treadmill. Remember, he was running on it early on. Oh, the helmet, the pilot from the helmet. Like, I was Chester. Chester was the audience that remembers all this stuff. Like,
and they knew what they were doing when they built that scene up.
Yeah. Like, I was shocked they showed that pilot helmet from the pilot when he wore that for that brief scene. I'm surprised they showed that. Scott, I think the answer is pretty clear here. The heroes are going to come to Star Labs. They are not going to be. He's not going to be going to their shows because the way it's been explained and the way kind of Canada has explained it too in his own live streams and stuff, that this is their way of having crossovers without crews crossing over into other shows. You're just bringing the actors in to do to come to the Flash. So they're going to show up in Star Labs. They're going to show up in Central City. They're not going to, it's not like where Flash is going to travel to Gotham or whatever. Now he might travel to Gotham for some reason to get Batwoman, but it's not going to be like
in the Batcave.
Yeah, he's not going to show up in the Batcave. He'll be running in a street in Gotham, which is going to be Central City, and then he's going to he's not going to show up on Batwoman sets, unless I'm wrong. But they're going to have it to where
definitely not. I mean, some of those things they probably wouldn't like.
Well, I'm just wondering, if they have crews. If they're having the Flash crew, could the Flash crew go into a Batwoman set hypothetically?
Only if Batwoman's not actively using it, I think maybe they could.
Okay.
But I actually don't know the answer to that one because that's never been a question that's needed to be answered before. I'm trying to think. Just talk what you want. I'm going to take about 20 seconds to try and figure that out.
Okay. Well, what I was thinking was the protocols might be different when they go to start shooting this because I know Daniel Panabaker is getting her COVID vaccine shot. I'm assuming all these actors who are coming back from shooting in Vancouver are getting their COVID shots. So I'm wondering, will the protocols be different if you because I'm assuming they're all being told work will be easier if you get your COVID shot.
Well, here's the reality. It doesn't matter who is and isn't double vaxxed. At the end of the day, it's the entire crew would need to be. And even if you have your double vaccination, you still have to go by whatever the WorkSafe BC standards are, which were negotiated before they went back to work.
Okay.
Now, I was talking about this I can't remember if it was my last live stream or someone else's live stream, but as far as I know right now, nothing has changed from the agreement they made last season for this upcoming season yet. They could be still in negotiations for that or whatever.
It might be.
Our government has said June 15th, there's a new round of restrictions that are going to be lifted as long as we are still in the right direction. I don't think anything will change for the film industry on the June 15th one, but the next one after that is July 1st. I think the July 1st one is going to see a whole bunch of new changes. And maybe at that point, the film industry will go to WorkSafe BC and be like, you know what? A lot of things have changed in the last 60 days. Here's things we would like done for us now.
Yeah.
And that would be in time for the next season.
And that would be good though, because the whole 2-week quarantine is insane, but it's understandable at the time they needed it. But I'm wondering if they still need to do that now, unless they, I guess it all depends on certain circumstances.
I think there should be a double standard, and I think it should be if you are double vaxxed, you do the 3 days, and if you don't get a positive 3 days, let's just assume your vaccination is working, because the way the system works now, it's really convoluted, and it's mostly because the government just wants money. But you come into Canada, and you go directly to a hotel of the government's choosing, and it's on your dime. So you do 3 days in a hotel that the government's chosen at whatever ridiculous rate they're charging you. And if you clear the COVID test or whatever there, then you move to wherever you're going next, whether it's a hotel, your home, whatever, for the rest of your quarantine of 11 days. Yeah. So this is just, after the 3 days, if you're double vaccinated, let's just assume you probably don't have it. You're not bringing it in. Your extra 11 days isn't going to make you safer. Like, let the person get to what they need to do.
It's just
there's loopholes around this thing too. Like, there's loopholes. There's loopholes into this. I don't know if some of the people have used it, but you can fly into Calgary, which is a city in the middle of the country. It's like where Montana would be. You can fly into Calgary. They, for some reason, had this system. They had like rapid testing, something or other system. You can fly into Calgary, do 3 days in Calgary, get cleared in Calgary, and be allowed to go where you want after that through Calgary. Now, problem is there's not a lot of LA to Calgary flights. So they probably haven't done that very much.
Yeah.
But I mean, Calgary's been doing that for most of the pandemic. Why didn't Vancouver look into this, you know?
Who knows? Scott, the thing is, they can do it. It's just like we're just having a discussion about, like, is there going to be like all these restrictions where the actors coming in for this special 5-episode event have to wait 2 weeks to then start shooting, or if they
they'll have a like I funny enough, I explained this in one of the streams Scott was on recently. They would have this all planned out, and there's parts like in the script that they're just like, this is etched in stone. We can't work around this. These are absolute things we have to have. Yeah. Then there's probably another 20 to 30% of the script. They're like, this is what we'd like to do, but if we find out there's a restriction that stops us from doing that, there's our plan B. And if plan B doesn't work out, we even have a plan C. So they're going to do it. They just might have to fine tune little details depending what they can and can't get to, right?
Yeah. Do you think Kara should appear on Superman and Lois to help out with the ex-Kryptonian war? It's odd she's never been mentioned once. Well, I'll be honest. I feel they should have mentioned her at some point already, but there's so much going on, and I don't know. Because the thing is, we don't even know what... Is this taking place in 2021? Just like every other show? We don't even know.
I don't even know when... But I don't know that to be a fact.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if it is. Because what if this is taking... Like, I would have... Because there's no crossover with any other show, so there's nothing they have to connect to. I don't know what the answer is.
I was trying to think if there's been a specific mention that you can definitively say it's in like 2020, 2021, but I don't know.
there's
no one's mentioned Crisis. No one's mentioned
they've mentioned multiverse once. But but that just implies, because Clark and Lois both know that their lives were different pre-Crisis. They were both like, so that's not surprising. But we don't know when this is taking place. We don't know. Yeah, Diggle is still appearing, but he's not appearing in Superman and Lois. He's only appearing in Batwoman, and I think that's it. Or in Supergirl.
All five. Flash, Supergirl, Superman, Batwoman, Legends. 5.
He's appearing in Superman and Lois. When is he doing that though?
Yep.
What episode?
I don't know. He all 5 shows he has 1 appearance each.
Well, because I thought that he was supposed to be appearing in the episode he was directing, or was that wrong?
Not always. No, because I can't remember if it's the Flash or Batwoman. One or the other. He's definitely not directing the episode that he is in. He just had an episode like last week or 2 weeks ago that he directed that aired already, and he wasn't in that one. I can't remember for what show.
I think it was Superman and Lois. I think it was like episode 6 or 7.
I think you're right, actually. I think it was the Superman and Lois one.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. People were assuming that he was going to appear in the episode he was directing. Diggle is in Superman and Lois episode 12.
So here's the thing. He's been here since January.
Gotcha.
That's a long time to be here to just do like 5 episodes. Like he could have hammered that out in 2 months.
Yeah.
He was here up until May, you know. Obviously that means he wasn't just doing the 5 episodes that he's directing, because he could have been out of Vancouver by March. So some of those episodes that he's directing, he's clearly not in, or vice versa, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting for sure. I know he's bringing Batwoman this Sunday. So
yeah. And is that the one he directs though?
I don't even know. Let's see.
I don't know. I'm actually trying to find that now.
What was David Ramsey? I was like, what's his name?
His name's Diggle.
Yeah, his name's Diggle. Shit. He's a good old boy.
Nope. Next episode is directed by Michael Alowitz.
Yeah, he directed what he's been credited on Superman and Lois, Man of Steel, which was the episode that revealed of who Captain Luthor really is. And on Supergirl, he's directing an episode, Blind Spots. His John Diggle Spartan appearances, he's going to be appearing on the Flash. DC's Legends of Tomorrow, he's going to be appearing as someone else. Supergirl, he's appearing and then Batwoman, Superman, and Lois. So, okay. I was really confused on that.
Yeah. Okay. I remember reading the thing early when it first came out, because I had seen several people going, oh, he's going to direct 5 episodes, 1 on each show, and star in them. I'm like, no, he's only starring in each show. All it says is he's directing 5 episodes, does not say that there's 1 of each show. So I'm guessing somewhere in that roster, he's doing like 2 of one show and 0 of another, you know? But the actual on screen, he's doing 1 of each show.
And people are wondering if this is, since he denied the call to be a Lantern, if this is going to be his way of becoming a Lantern by his appearance is going to tie into it.
I think so many people are going to be disappointed if he's not a Green Lantern in some way, shape, or form by the end of this, that you'd think they would have to have known that before they put him in this. And you'd think they'd have to know, we're going to alienate some people if we don't pay this off in some way.
Yeah.
I think the article is supposed to be a red herring, but I also know how bad the CW can screw things up, that I could see them just not failing this, you know?
Well, the CW always makes the best decisions. What are you talking about?
It's true. I mean, they did kill off Black Canary. I mean, so
that was a perfect decision, because I'm sitting there going, why not? You know, this makes perfect sense. You know, you have her survive, and then she dies later, a few minutes later in the hospital. You have her survive the stabbing of Damien Dark, the best villain Arrow's ever had.
They just did that to someone on the show recently. Who was it? Or not Arrow specifically, but someone died recently.
Who died? I don't know. Someone died.
Maybe it wasn't an Arrowverse show. What else have I watched recently?
I think. Well, then again, I'm not caught up on Batwoman, Supergirl, so I guess someone could have died on there. Or Legends. Yep. Isn't Legends back now?
Yeah, Legends is back. Did they kill someone on Legends? No, they wouldn't kill people on Legends.
Just write them off.
It must be something that I'm watching, not Arrowverse related, but I can't even think of what that show would be.
Jordan says,
wonder. Lucifer. It was Lucifer.
Oh yeah, Lucifer. I wonder how they're gonna. That's a big death. I wonder how they're gonna explain how Diggle knows Luke Fox. Maybe a post-crisis history change. Probably. Maybe.
He might not. He might not right away. He might go there looking for Kate, and the team's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm this guy. I know Kate." And they just like,
"I'm Spartan, bitch." What are you talking about?
Do you not recognize the helmet?
He pulls out Diggle's dumb helmet. Do you not recognize the dumb helmet? That would be hilarious if he pulls out his own dumb helmet. Do you not recognize the dumb helmet?
No, he pulls out a helmet. He's like, recognize me now, and then like just like
no,
looks and goes, that's a dumb helmet.
He does that, and then when he puts it on, you hear angels singing and doves flying, and then there's a bright shiny light, and they're in the Batcave too, so it makes no sense. But he puts on the Diggle's dumb helmet, and he becomes, and then he just transforms. Like Wonder Woman, like when Linda Carter twirls and she becomes Wonder Woman, he twirls and becomes Diggle's dumb helmet. He wears a season 4 suit. There you go. It's the way to go. Or better yet, he becomes the new Green Arrow. He doesn't take up the mantle of Green Lantern. He becomes the new Green Arrow, and he goes, "Guys, it's only because they didn't pick up Green Arrow and the Canaries."
Yeah, and the new Canaries are going to be
the Powerpuff Girls.
Sure. Yeah, that works.
I'm loving Superman and Lois. He's wondering how we feel.
I am. It's I've commented on my channel a couple times about this. The only problem I'm having with Superman and Lois isn't a problem with the show itself. It's the timing of it. I'm so engrossed in the Flash, whether it's for good or bad reasons, that sometimes week by week what it is, that I'm not paying attention like to the episode for the first 10 to 20 minutes. So there's a lot of stuff that's happened in these episodes that even though I'm hearing it, even possibly seeing it, my brain's still processing Flash content, and I'm just not zoned into the show right away. Still great. The stuff I am remembering is great. I'm just not remembering all of it because it's on right after. And Batwoman, I don't have that problem with because Legends, you take it in and you forget about it the second after it ends. But Flash and Superman and Lois is a show you're supposed to be paying attention to, and I just finished watching a show I'm supposed to be paying attention to, so I'm having a little trouble with that. I can't wait for them to cut those shows onto different nights.
I hope so for my sake, because I'm tired of reacting to Flash night of, getting it up at like 11:30 or so, and then going to bed and then waking up early as hell to react to Superman and Lois the next day.
Oh yeah.
What was I going to say? If I watched the Flash and Superman and Lois back to back, like when it aired, I feel like I don't know if I'd have that issue because I'm so invested in Superman and Lois. It's the best show in the Arrowverse right now, even though I'm not caught up on some of the shows, but I feel like I would just forget about the Flash. I would feel like, because if it's back to back, I would have to film the review of Flash after Superman and Lois is done, and I feel like I'd have a hard time remembering because I just finished Superman and Lois, that I'd be so thinking about all that. Like that's what me and the Ghost did for a while when we did Batwoman and Supergirl back to back. Those are rough days, and and we would forget sometimes because we're like, oh crap, well that happened. Oh yeah, because that was the first show we watched. We just now finished the second one, so it was. I hate how they double book them like that, but
yeah,
whatever. I think it would just be easier if they would just put it on streaming. For me, or get me screeners so I could watch it early in my own time. It'd be great, because then I wouldn't have to worry about freaking sitting around till 8 o'clock to watch the Flash. If I got a screener,
if they gave you screeners of just one of the shows, at least you wouldn't have to do two on the same night.
Exactly. Say if they gave me a screener for the Flash, then I would watch it earlier that day, or maybe the day before if they gave it to me early that way. Get it done, videos ready. Then I watched Superman Lois night of.
Yeah.
Or Superman Lois, they gave me that screener, but I watched the Flash live. I can watch Superman Lois earlier that day. Yeah. And then I'm done.
I don't understand their business model in any way, shape, or form, but they've got to know that the reaction game in the Arrowverse is big, and that what they're doing is kind of killing their own content a little. Because I don't know how many videos. Try English again. How many views do you get on an average Flash reaction video?
Well, handy dandy phone. Let's see here. Well, let's look at playlists, shall we? Because playlists will give me a good idea. Well, for Flash season 7, it was kind of going up and down. It really peaked at 12,000 views on the second episode, The Speed of Thought. It's averaging around 3, 4. Family Matters Part 1 got 3,600. Family Matters Part 2, the last episode, the arc, 5,000. And Cisco's video episode got 4.5. But if we go back before that to, where's the Flash season 6 at? Flash. Yeah, season 6. So the first 2 episodes got over 20,000 views, and I was just like, we were averaging. Grodd Friend and Me got 19,000. Death of the Speed Force got 22,000.
And back then you only probably had like 30,000 followers. Like,
well, that was last year. I mean, I probably had like 40-something thousand.
Okay. So 40,000. Like
Flash season 3, perfect example. Savitar reveal, 77,000 views.
Yeah.
So it's like there are big moments like that. I remember when they announced in season 5 the Nora reveal where she's talking to Reverse Flash, 64,000 views. That blew the fuck up. Elseworlds Part 1, of course, crossovers get different views, but it's dropped. The Godspeed reaction got 40,000 views. There's now 40.
I think the point I was kind of getting to is I think a lot of people are dropping the Arrowverse shows. Like, of all the reactors I follow, all 95% of the reactors I follow, I've started following them because of Arrowverse stuff. And the only show they religiously do now is Superman and Lois. A few still do The Flash. And I think a lot of that is they're just looking at the fact, like, I'm trying to think of words are escaping my head.
But I get your point. I think the dip is because people are losing interest because the storylines are kind of getting, kind of.
There was a point I was trying to make with reactions specific to this, and I think the reaction videos keep viewers invested longer term than just watching it on a Tuesday and forgetting about it till next Tuesday.
Yeah,
because if you're watching reaction videos, some of those videos don't come out till Thursday or Friday, depending how busy the channel is, and so you're from Tuesday to Friday, you're remembering the Flash,
Yeah.
By Saturday, you're only a couple days out from the next Flash episode, and you're like, I need to know what's going on next because we just had this. But the point I was getting to was, like, Warner Brothers, and especially the stuff with, like, the music copyrights, they've punished people so hard for doing what you do that a lot of people just give up on it. Even if they're getting good numbers, they just give up on it because it's such a hassle now. How many times do you have to re-upload your video?
Good. Well, so
I compare that to 2 years ago.
Well, okay. So what I've learned is when they claim a part of the episode that I use, like a clip, I can dispute it, and they'll release the claim.
Yeah,
they'll release it.
But that you're missing the hot hours of it being up. Like,
well, the thing is too, if it's a copyright claim, it's an escrow where the money will be held off to the side, and then when they release the claim,
okay.
But there, for some reason, the past 2 weeks, the Flash, they've blocked. Now, eventually they get released, but I have to go and edit it down.
Yeah,
and then it goes up with a claim that I dispute, and then I move on and make it public. But it was a whole mess. But it's a pain. It is a pain because you got to dispute. It's like, really?
I find that they're going through all this trouble to try and nitpick people over dimes and nickels, and it's hurting them on the back end, I think. Like, I think there's a lot of people who have probably lost some interest in the show because they're not seeing that content in their feed anymore on a regular basis. You think of some of the larger channels out there that have just dropped the Flash.
Yeah.
And I talked earlier about how, the people online are still the minority of viewers, but that is still, the minority is probably like 20% of the viewers. So if you take the YouTube percent, you're probably talking like 5% of viewers. If they're not seeing Flash content coming at them from the people they already know, they're not going and like remembering to put the Flash on Tuesday. Like, I think they're hurting themselves more fighting you guys over nickels and dimes than they would be to just let you guys do this. And
They do. It's just there's the automated system just catches you. I mean, the same thing happened when I reacted to The Boys forever ago, and I was having those issues. Yet no one else was having issues that I was noticing. Like people were just uploading their videos, way more footage. But yeah, with Arrowverse, it's if they would just not have it in this, like basically, if you're uploading a full episode, yeah, you should get taken down.
Of course, yeah.
If you're uploading a reaction and you have a clip going on for a minute straight, no cutting, and it's just playing nonstop with no cuts or anything, or you're not talking over it, yeah, I think you shouldn't have your video up because you need to actually contribute to the video. You can't just be showing clips of an episode of a show and then not responding to it. That's not a reaction.
Yeah.
But we're clearly, I mean, literally, the intro and then the review portion is longer than the footage.
Yeah.
And the footage is like little clips, and people are like, oh, well, they might be trying to watch the episode of the way. There's no way you can keep up because there's stuff I completely cut out of my reactions that you have no idea were a part of the episode if you're only watching reactions. So I add more footage? Yeah, but it's a reaction. You're supposed to watch it first before watching how I responded to it.
I think some of their business decisions are hurting them on the back end, and they don't know it because they've got it's kind of like the old you're like probably what, 30s or 40s
age?
Like, yeah. No, you're still in your 20s?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So you might not remember Napster then.
Oh, I remember hearing about it.
So there was a big fight back then, them trying to kill Napster because Napster had a lot of downloading of music illegally. The thing they found is, like, once Napster was dead and buried, the business of like downloading music didn't just go away. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to we want you to buy physical copies of everything. And it didn't go away. They didn't raise sales. All they did was inconvenience people. And it's the same thing Warner Brothers and Amazon and companies like that are doing now with the reaction and people using their content online. They're not gaining more sales from it. No one's going out and renting the episodes because you can't put a reaction video up. Yeah. And it's the same when you use a song, like the other night with the Lady Gaga one. Do you think someone out there is going to go and buy the Lady Gaga song now because they didn't get to hear it in a reaction? Like, if anything, it's bringing more attention to your content.
It is.
Like, I didn't know that was I knew the song because I've heard it around before. I didn't know it was a Lady Gaga song because I don't really listen to newer music. Now, granted, I'm not going to go out and buy it, but if I had heard that song and been like, that's an interesting song, now at least I might go and buy it. Whereas if it's not in the video, I don't know I've never heard the song, I just don't understand what the business model for this is. Sorry, I got off on a bit of a rant about this.
No, it's okay. It's funny because literally been reacting to the Arrowverse for years and the views have dropped off, but I just continue to watch them and I unfortunately got behind on stuff. But it's like me and the Ghost reacted to the final 2 episodes of Lucifer. And I love how you comment saying, how do you start your first reaction? Yeah, your start reaction on a show episode 15 into a season, because it was episode 15. Yeah. Well, I had mentioned that Andy from Screen Rant told me, and we were talking, and he had mentioned the last 2 episodes you should react to them. Like, okay. Yep. So we did. But those videos blew up past 10,000 views. I think one's at 17,000, one's at 15 or something. Those blew up. And it's interesting. It's 5 seasons in, yet people are craving people to talk about this show. And same thing with Cobra Kai.
There's a lot of those little hidden nuggets that most reactors don't know about,
Yeah, there's it's funny too. Like you mentioned, the reactors reacting to Arrowverse stuff. I've noticed how there's been a lot of people who dropped off on watching certain shows. Like I noticed how there's not as many people reacting to the Flash, because usually the day after the Flash airs, I type in Flash reaction, for that episode specifically. there'll be like it'll just keep going. But
Yeah.
now it's like there's
like I used to my day usually after an episode of say The Flash was go online about an hour later and see whose videos are up. Usually, I mean, there's a couple of them that get them up literally within like an hour or two. They just,
yeah.
I start with those, and then by like midnight, there's like 10 of them on there, and I'm just the rest of the night. I'm up until 4 or 5 in the morning watching reaction videos. Now I can hammer them all out and be done before midnight. Like, even if I show up 2 days later, do a search for them, it's like 7. Like,
yeah,
it used to be like 25. There was channels I'd never heard of, like doing reaction videos, and I would like check them out once and never watch them again. But now I watch almost everything because there's so few of them. And I think a lot of that is they're demotivated from the amount of like harassment they've gotten from, the studios. And I don't understand the business model of that.
And I feel like Superman and Lois is going to have the same issue. Eventually, people are going to stop reacting to that show too, because it's the same thing. Regardless of the quality of the show, Superman and Lois still gets claimed on my channel. I still have to sometimes have to dispute it. It's fine after that because they always release it, but it's still you have to do it. Yeah. So it's like eventually people are going to stop doing that too. I think what's saving it is because people love the show so much, or at least most people are.
Now, yes, yeah.
That they're willing to deal with that extra hassle if they get claimed.
It's a cost versus time issue. I mean, you have to put in. I don't know how much time an actual claim takes, but you have to put time of your day aside for that. You have to look at that and balance that out to how much value is there in this video. Like, if they come and claim a Batwoman video from you, you probably just like take it. Like, I don't. It's not worth.
It doesn't take that long actually, because you go through the process. You click it's fair use. You click all the boxes and say blah blah blah. You're not filing a false response or something. You think you have a valid reason, and then I just copy and paste a little paragraph that I have, and then the fair use thing from the court. Yeah, but I always do that. But I'm using under 10 minutes of footage. I've never had an issue with reacting to these shows before, like Arrowverse specific shows. Let me know if that's changed. It's never changed. They just it's just the computer claims it. It's funny. Sometimes I get manually claimed, and then when I dispute it, I win. It's funny because they're like, okay, we're wrong. We didn't mean to do that. But it's like it's not really a pain. It's just the fact is I spend an hour and 15 minutes or so recording the reaction, the intro, the review, and then editing doesn't take that long. If I use my OBS and I use my webcam and everything, and I have picture, like I watch the shows legally. I watch The Flash live through my Spectrum TV, my live TV that I pay for. I watch Superman and Lois on the app the next day. I'm watching the show legally. I'm just recording it and putting picture in picture.
I remember actually, I don't remember the name of the reactor now. It's one that I don't follow anymore because they stopped reacting. But they were watching The Flash live. Funny enough, it was The Flash. And they used to start their introduction like, hi, I'm so-and-so. Just, so I'm watching this on the official channel of the CW right now with the commercials. And he would like turn, pan, show that he's watching it live. He's like, and he'd, like make a point to like Warner Brothers be like, I'm watching it live. I'm downloading this off somewhere and streaming or, illegally streaming it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it helped him or anything, but it's just the little things people are forced to do because these guys, like I said, they're nickel and diming people that are making 1/1000th of what they make.
Okay, I'll give you an example. And it wasn't Warner Brothers Television, it was Warner Brothers Films. I started uploading my reactions to the parts from the Snyder Cut, Justice League.
Okay. Yeah.
I uploaded the intro, part 1 and part 2, and I think it was that one or the next video got blocked. And the reasoning is because of Snyder Cut leak, and it gives you the actual thing that is in place in the copyright of YouTube, and it says the leak of the Snyder Cut, because I guess the Snyder Cut was starting to leak online, or certain things are coming out that weren't supposed to be officially released. So they had something in place on YouTube. If someone tried to upload a clip or something that's not supposed to be out there, it's going to get blocked. Well, I had to dispute, and I won the disputes because I wrote down clearly, I watched this on HBO Max that I am paying for. I did not watch a leak, and I waited till, of course, after it already came out on HBO Max. It's not like I tried to upload it early. So I understand that point, because that guy was probably worried that they thought he was illegally downloading episodes. And that's a thing too that a lot of reactors have done, and I've done over the years, and I've admitted it. I had to, at times when I watched it live on my TV, go get an illegal download of the episode, but I watched it legally live.
Yeah, perfect example. I'll admit, almost everything I watch is not through an official channel, because Canadian television, So here's the thing. There's a couple places I go. One of them, the feed that they have for the CW on the East Coast, also carries, I guess, they have the rights to the NBA. Mm-hmm. So if there's an NBA game in New York on that night, they're not carrying the Arrowverse. If you're a reactor at home in New York and that's your official channel, what are you supposed to do? Exactly. You now have to go look for it illegally,
Yeah, I remember that happened once. We were going to watch Supergirl. It was a couple years ago, and there was a basketball game on. Well, I think with my Spectrum TV on the computer, it pulls it directly from, I guess, one of the affiliates that carries CW specific, and it's not carrying, if they have a game on,
from your hometown.
Yeah, it's going to have the actual CW content, because I haven't experienced that yet. But then again, things are still up in the air in terms of certain stuff they're not doing. So I don't know if that's going to change. But
there's a secondary thing. I mean, back east, you guys get some ugly ass storms in some of those areas that knock power out for hours or days at a time. Again, what do you do? Where do you find that content the next day? Because it's not like CW's holding their programming because your power went out,
Exactly.
So, I get that downloading it and watching it from unofficial sources cuts into their bottom line. I understand that.
But I only did it to edit the videos. But now, that was before. I would watch it live on my TV, and then I would go to my computer and get an illegal download so that I could edit the video and put it out that night. But this, I'm watching it officially from the paid Spectrum I'm paying for, and then I just put OBS picture-in-picture, and then I full screen the thing, got a recording, and it's recording everything.
One of the other reactors I follow, he's doing a show that's now it's off the air, right? And they had taken it off of whatever thing he, let's say it was on HBO, right? So they've taken it off HBO, and now it's just in limbo. It's not on any streaming service for a while. So I was talking to him. He's like, well, no one's got it right now. I'm like, well, I have it on my USB. I can just send you the file. He's like, no, I'm going to watch it from an official source. So he waited 6 months for it to pop up on another official source to pick it up again. But if you're watching a newer show, something that is buzzworthy and all of that, and all of a sudden, let's say Spectrum tomorrow decides they're not carrying the CW anymore, what are you supposed to do, Because this happens all the time with some of these, some of these cable things. They're all of a sudden that's not part of the package anymore, Well,
luckily CW is a local program, they're calling it. So I don't think it could be removed, but
I mean, CW, they're, going to the ratings the CW has and all that stuff. Big thing people don't understand when they look at the ratings for CW is, I can't remember how long ago, I think it was season 3-ish of Arrow was the year they used to be on WGN. CW used to be on WGN, which is a superstation. It literally is, you can get it anywhere in the country, even though it's a Chicago station. The WGN covered like 85% of the country for them. When their contract ended with WGN, they now had to go out to all these smaller stations in local areas to patchwork through a network of places to get their signal out. And they don't cover everything. They still only cover about 65 or 70% of what WGN used to cover. So there's large chunks of the country that still don't get CW at all. So, you know, if you were a reactor, and let's say Idaho is one of those places. Let's just say, you know, now you don't get CW in Idaho because WGN is not a CW affiliate. If you're a reactor in Idaho, how do you keep doing your business model now? You know,
can't.
So, yeah.
People were asking about how I was able to even do 3 shows back to back to back with Superman, Lois, Flash, and Loki. It was a pain in the ass because I watched Flash 9 of, got it up live at like 11:30. Woke up at 5 in the morning, reacted to Loki, and then when Ghost went to work, I react to Superman, Lois like I normally do each morning. Superman, Lois on Wednesday mornings before I clock into work. So I work from home. As soon as she leaves, Superman, Lois. So I had to watch another show before that show. You know? To say I was exhausted is an understatement. I was dead, but I got the videos out. That's what matters. Yeah. Got 5 more weeks. Woo! So
I have not watched Loki yet because the trailer didn't inspire me. How was it?
I think it was pretty interesting. I like the concept of it, and I think it's setting up some really interesting things they may go in terms of a direction, because I don't know where they're going to take this, but the ending definitely sets up like a twist, like, what are you talking about? And then it cuts to another scene and then it ends. So I feel like it's definitely worth at least checking out the first episode, because I think they set up the whole idea of where he's at very well. And you have a lot of questions that they leave unanswered, like, because there's a story behind it. They're not going to just give everything to you. But I think it's definitely worth checking out. If you
where is it in timeline wise of like MCU?
Did you watch Avengers Endgame?
Oh yeah.
Okay. You remember when they went back to 2012 to get the Infinity Stones? They went back 2012 during the events of the first Avengers, and Loki grabs the Tesseract and escapes.
Yeah.
That's the Loki you're following.
Oh,
You're going to see where he ends up. And the good thing is when you start the episode, it replays an abridged version of that leading up to it.
So people know some backstory. They've never followed it. Yeah.
Because they explained in 2019 at Comic-Con when Kevin Feige revealed the info about this show, he specifically showed that clip showing Loki grabbing the Tesseract and then leaving. And he says, you're going to find out what happened to that Loki. You're going to find out what happened to him. And so they make sure you know we're in 2012 because they show the date. They show the Avengers. You see like the events unfolding from Avengers Endgame's perspective. And then you see Loki grab the Tesseract. He disappears. And then you see where he goes.
All right.
So, but the good thing is they don't waste a lot of time getting right to him being taken to this place and where the whole show starts. There's not like a lot of thing where he's like going all these, like he literally is just, he lands somewhere and then boom, you get right into basically the show. There's no like waiting around for a couple of minutes going, well, what's going to happen? How are they going to, when's it going to start? It starts like right away.
Yeah. I heard that it's supposed to, that it was supposed to be in the past, but I didn't remember all the details. The only thing, like I said, when I saw the trailer come out, I watched it like on YouTube, and I wasn't like, of the 3 that have come out, WandaVision was for me the low, like the trailer was like a 2 out of 10. Like I was just like, I don't care about this. And then when I watched it, I felt it. I watched 5 episodes of that show and it never hit me. I never was excited about this show.
Gotcha.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, when it came out, was like a 9 out of 10 trailer, and I felt that when it came out. I'm like, you know what? This show is really good. I would put it as one of the top shows I watched this last year. So when Loki's trailer came out, it's like a 4 out of 10. Maybe even a 3. Like I again, I just don't feel this trailer. So I'm a little concerned the show is also going to be like a WandaVision for me, where I just don't connect with it, you know?
Gotcha. I mean,
so I've kind of been dragging my feet on watching it.
I understand because, like, for some people, it's not the Loki we've been following all these years. This is not the same Loki. This is a Loki after the events of the first Avengers, and this is not the same guy. But they find a way, I won't say what, they find a way to make you, like, to make him understand pretty quickly what's going on. So I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it just depends. Because some people are saying it feels like the TVA, this whole organization from the trailers, it feels like their answer to like even though it's in the comics, what Legends have tried to do with time travel in an agency or whatever. And I feel like this is definitely more interesting than what Legends have tried to do.
Okay.
So,
have you been trying to catch up on Legends?
No, I have not seen past, what was it, season 4?
Fair enough.
I'll
tell you, this is all I'll say. If you ever do, I think you can skip the rest of season 4 and just move into season 5. Season 5 is good. Season 6 been a little hit and miss.
Let me see. Pull my Netflix right now and see where I think it was the season 4 premiere is when I stopped at.
Oh God, you missed some terrible stuff then.
Oh yeah. Where's it at? Or is it under DC's? Where the hell is it? Did they take it off? Oh, there it is. So they did take it off. Yeah, the season 4 premiere. The Virgin Gary was the last episode I watched. I remember tweeting about it saying, I'm going to watch this and just see at what point can I just not stand it. And it was pretty much, I was done.
I mean, there was still some things in season 4 that I had fun with. It's a show that I watch and know that I don't seriously. I don't need to remember the next episode, what happened last episode. But there was too many just dumb things in season 4. It's the first show that I can actually recall in my life where I gave up on the show at a certain point and then I gave it another chance down the road, and I've never gone back to the episodes I missed. Like, usually I've done that a couple times where I've given up on a show and then later on I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll try it. But I go back to the point that I gave up and continue it from there. This show, I was just like, you know what, the last 4 episodes of season, I'm just going to accept that I'm never going to watch those.
I remember the season 3 of Legends. I watched the Constantine episodes. And that was pretty much it. Because I for some reason a while ago, it must have been a while ago because I don't remember, Bebo the God of War, the season 3 episode 9, I guess his introduction. It's the bar is like loaded a little bit into the episode, like I had watched a little bit. I've never seen it all the way through.
Oh, I can't believe you have not watched Savior's appearance.
I can't
love that character. I know he is one of the most polarizing characters in the Arrowverse. If you put up a poll of do you like or hate Bebo, he'd probably be about a 50-50 split. Yes. But I always have fun when I see him.
I was rewatching clips. I was rewatching clips from Arrow a couple nights ago.
Yeah,
I missed this show. I was watching what's it called? I'm trying to find what the episode title was.
Speaking of Arrow, so you know that scene in the most recent Flash episode where Cisco saves everything and Caitlin goes, "You to bomb."
Yes.
And everyone kind of rolled their eyes like, what stupid cheesy line was this? One of the guys I follow, I don't know how he stumbled across it, but when they did their appearance on Arrow before the show started, Caitlin and Cisco, and they're in the Star Lab inventory area, Cisco refers to it as the bomb. And I guess that was the callback they were doing that almost no one picked up.
Holy crap.
Because I thought it was a stupid line. I just rolled my eyes at it. I'm like, come on, Flash. And then this guy reposted that clip. I'm like, oh, so that was the callback. They were trying to make people remember that almost no one would.
Exactly. Man,
Yeah.
I'm just like scrolling through here. Season 5 where it got good again. Season 6 where it started off with no real consequences for the island exploding.
What are you talking about? They lost what's his face's mom.
Oh yeah, William's mom, because it was such a big important character.
Yeah. Without her, the show just fell apart in 2 seasons.
Yeah, didn't you know? That's why season 8 had only 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Crisis. It's crazy because literally you can watch Crisis, but you can't watch the Batwoman one on Netflix because Batwoman's not on here.
Huh. Well, for me in Canada, it's a lot different because our Netflix only has Legends and Supergirl. Yeah, Legends and Supergirl. No Arrow, no Superman and Lois. Oh, I guess Superman and Lois wasn't a thing back then. No Arrow.
No, I wonder when the Netflix deal is going to end.
So there's no Arrow here on Netflix. So it'd be 2 pieces you can't watch in Canada.
I'm wondering, when is the Netflix Arrow, Netflix CW, deal going to be over? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't actually know. I think
I bet HBO Max wants all these shows and all these seasons now. They want them over there on their service, not on Netflix.
Yeah, I don't know how the deal works in that aspect. I know back in the day, well, all the shows were at their peak. They had a 10-year deal with the CW, but at some point, I don't know who had the out, whether it was Warner Brothers or whether it was Netflix, but at some point they just ended the deal early.
Yeah.
But obviously some of those shows are still on Netflix, so I don't know what the backroom dealing was on, well, we still get the shows for 10 years or what it is, right? They still carry some of the shows live, like Riverdale and The Flash, right? So the deal is technically dead, but maybe they kept some shows. I don't know.
I have no idea. HBO Max is expensive, Clifford, but at the same time, the Arrowverse is their content, and they don't want Netflix to have it anymore. Because now they have their own service, they want it back. So Netflix won't be able to keep it forever.
I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Just talk amongst yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, I was thinking about ending it soon anyways. A few more minutes, guys. We're going to call it a night. Oh, man, it's been a long day. Working. Second shot of COVID. Moderna. Arm is killing me. But yeah. It's been a day. Netflix series. The way it works is a show leaves Netflix 3 to 5 years after the series ends. If that's true, my God, some of these shows are going to be waiting for fucking ever to leave the goddamn Netflix. Clifford, I don't know. I mean, they're still on Netflix, so, or whatever. There's plenty of content on Netflix to watch. It's just finding the time to watch it. They released a little bit of a teaser for Witcher season 2, by the way, which was really cool. Do you think that Batwoman will well in all 3 seasons? What? Sorry. Wow, that's unfortunate. I eventually I'll watch Black Lightning. It's just I just don't have the time. Just don't have the time. Oh well. Clifford, I reacted to it yesterday. Hello. Who do you think you could do to make the Flash season 7 better? What could I have done to make it better? I would have been the lead, and I would have thrown a party every day for the Flash
with
cast.
the party people.
Yeah, the party people. Yeah. I was telling them that I was gonna be on here for a few more minutes. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm tired.
All right.
What set were you going to go to before weather shut you down?
Superman and Lois. And the only reason I didn't actually go in, like, weather's not the worst, but it's strong threat of rain all day.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. It's kind of a bit of a travel. It's like a 20-minute train ride. Usually that still wouldn't be enough to deter me, but they're going to be on set next week, close to my house, in a park during daytime when the weather is nice. So I was kind of like, you know what? I kind of can miss today. If I hadn't seen that film notice, I was still going out there, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be happy about it, but I was going to go.
Yeah, like that's pretty much like in terms of like me like doing videos. I recorded 3 videos yesterday, and it's like today I'm like, I'm gonna upload a one I filmed on Tuesday, which was opening those arrow cards. I'm like, because I wasn't filling anything, and there was nothing that dropped. So I'm like, well, fine, I'll put up this then, whatever. Have you watched Transformers Wars for Cybertron trilogy? Nope, have not. Nope. I don't have the time. I literally spend all my time either making videos or watching Law and Order SVU with the wife. We're on season 7 now. We're just rewatching the whole freaking show again. Why not?
Oh man, that's going to take you a few months.
Oh, it will. We're on season 7 now. 22, 23. But see, I stopped watching the show when Christopher Maloney, who played Stabler, left after season 12, and now he's back with his own show. But we're like, let's just watch the show all over again. Why not? Because we watched the crossover. Yeah.
I did that with a couple of shows like CSI back in the day. After 1 or 2 of the people left from that show, I'm like, it's not the same cast. And you know, I mean, I have no idea how it ended.
I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things where like once he left, I'm like, I have no interest in the show now, because I watched for the dynamic between Stabler and Benson. So I'm like, once he's gone, I'm like, what's the point? Are you gonna watch Master Universe Revelation? I would like to. We'll see. I know
Have
me
you
and
had any plans lately about your own production stuff?
we were talking about doing a 48-hour film challenge. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But other than that, no, not really. Unfortunately, no, not really. And
COVID
to me, it's
slowed
like,
down a lot of things, and you just haven't got back into it.
well, like I have the passion to tell stories. I want to tell stories, but
yeah,
it's like one of those things to where I don't know if everybody involved wants to do it on the level of what I want to do. And the fact is, we've been sitting on our last Star Wars fan film since we shot it in January, and it's not close to being done, and it's now June. Wow. And it's like, yeah, so it's like, yeah, when is that going to come out? Who knows? So it's like, should I focus my time on something like that? Because I have so many story ideas. Do I even, like, what do I do with them?
Right. I mean, I understand there's I'm kind of, I mean, not on the same thing as you, because obviously it's not a production thing, but from my website standpoint, I am such a micromanager that I can't possibly have another person work on my website, because a lot of people are like, oh, you could do so much more. I'm just like, you're right, I actually could, but I want things to be, I want the product, I want everything to be done the way I envision it being done, and sometimes you have to be willing to give control to someone else. And I am not capable of doing that. So I understand not having the same mindset as other people on a project. Yeah. Because you're different people. You're just literally different human beings. You're going to think of things in a different way, you know? So you feeling this is how I want the project to do, and them feeling like, okay, like this is how I want it to do, and you guys finding a middle ground that isn't always realistic, you know. Sometimes there's not a middle ground to be had, you know.
Well, eventually the movie will come out, but it's just like, do they have the same passion? And the thing is too, we've made a huge purchase. My credit card is pretty high up there in terms of stuff we got to pay off.
Yeah.
Well, the production company, could we start making money on movies? Yeah. Am I making money off of YouTube right now at this moment? Yeah. So do I want to spend my time doing all this stuff for a project that may or may not even get made because literally I don't know what's going to happen, versus spending more of the time that I do have free to do content that will earn me ad revenue that I can guarantee is bringing in money to pay off stuff faster because I have a full-time job and then everything else is just bonus.
Yes.
So yeah, I would love to sit here and write a story, but I have a lot of stories that are they going to get made? Probably not. So I wasted all my time writing those essentially. And
well, you haven't necessarily wasted your time. I mean, you don't know what 6 years down the line might bring you, right?
I mean, you never know. I mean, there's plenty there. I come across the people all the time who are making productions or starting up stuff. They're wanting to do stuff. So maybe I could sell a short script.
Yeah.
It's like, here's the script, guys. Just pay me something and you can make it. I don't know.
See, I'm at, this goes back to my micromanaging thing. I've had ideas of writing scripts before.
Yeah.
I've never followed through. And one of the reasons I've never followed through is I know how the business is. And I know they would want it and then just like revamp it to their way. And I want it to be 100% the way I wrote it out. And yeah. I couldn't let something I put that time into just go away and have someone else remodel it.
Yeah, it's all about collaboration. That's kind of what made me and the director work so well together. But thank you, Daniel, for the super chat. Thank you for supporting. It's been a Batwoman. I don't know what this means.
I read it and I kind of
I'm asking what's the show that's going to replace Batwoman? I don't know.
Batwoman's not going anywhere for probably at least 2 more seasons. I mean, I know there's 1 or 2 sites out there, maybe I've heard, that think that Batwoman's going to get canceled after season 3. Reality is they like money, and they're not just going to throw away money. That's a profitable entity, and they paid a lot of money to get the rights to it, and it's more profitable for them to get to 88 episodes, and then it's more profitable for them after that to get to 100 episodes. So outside of the lead of the show like leaving again or something incredibly problematic happening, they're getting to at least 88 episodes and almost certainly 100 episodes, because once you get to 88, it's like, so like you make like this much, 88, all of a sudden it's like worth this much, and then 100 is like this much. Once you get to 100 episodes, you've maximized your profit level.
Gotcha.
They're just going to let it run its course. It's still profitable right now. If in season 4 it starts to be not profitable, it comes down to when do we get to 88 episodes or not. Gotcha. So they'll at least get to a season 4.
Oh, okay, guys. Well, I think I'm gonna call it an evening. It is almost 1 a.m. Probably need to get some rest because I got a washer and dryer being delivered tomorrow on the day after my shot. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's gonna suck. But hope everybody's doing well, and thank you, Canada, for hanging out.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry, Canadagraphs reacts. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm now going to react to reactors reacting to things. That's going to be much.
Could you?
I can't wait. I can't wait to get you on me react to your video.
Exactly. I'll react to you reacting to me reacting, and then you'll react to me reacting to you reacting to me. And we'll just keep the loop going. The video will be a nightmare once we get like 10 times into the depths of it. By the way, I have an idea, but unfortunately I can't do it till next year. But I had an idea for an April Fool's joke that was inspired by you. Unfortunately, it's passed. But I thought of a really funny April Fool's joke, and hopefully I'll remember it when we get around to April Fool's next year, because the title will simply say, "This is for Canadagraphs." And it will be a video specifically for you. And the thing is, I don't know if anybody's going to get the joke but you. But it's going to be worth it. So just in case.
Well, there you go, everybody. Everybody in the chat, you have to remind him on like early March next year. Put it in your calendars now.
I could literally film it after this stream and then just hold on to it till next year to upload it. Because it's so simple, but yet it would be so funny because I know exactly how you're going to respond to it. So
interesting.
Yeah. It's all about that thing that you say I don't do.
Oh God. Oh no way!
I was telling her about that a couple weeks ago. I'm like, you know what would have been the greatest April Fool's joke? And she's like, what? Canadagraphs always mentions this like randomly, and it's so true. And then it's like he brings it up because he's got a point. Now, at some point, there might have been that particular item somewhere in a trailer. But specifically,
I'm sure somewhere, yeah.
But specifically, you're asking for where is you reacting to just this, and it's not there. So maybe it's got to happen because no one else. I mean, I guess there are other reactors who could react to certain things associated with them.
I'm trying to think of a movie that would have definitely had a scene like that. I'm sure there is one. I'm sure if I Google it, I can find one right now.
Probably. Who knows? Arrowverse Scene says to film it right now and then schedule it. Yeah, schedule it for next year.
There's literally a movie named Texas.
Exactly. that kind of gives it away. So the idea was Canada has brought up several times randomly that you have not reacted to a chainsaw false advertising. So the joke was me reacting to a chainsaw and titling the video, "This is for Canadagraphs." And it's letting me reacting to chainsaw videos. Not me, chainsaw cutting videos. Like they're cutting wood or whatever. Or maybe it's me holding a chainsaw. I don't know. It's something has to do with chainsaw. Chainsaw, is it true that you'll be Green Arrow in the new Green Arrow show too? Well, it's just Arrow 2. It's not Green Arrow 2. It's just Arrow 2.
Next time you're just casually watching TV and you see like an ad for a chainsaw company on TV. There you go.
That might have actually happened during one of the commercials during an Arrowverse show. I've never noticed. But there's certain commercials that will play, like car commercials, that I just remember. It just sticks in my head because they play it so much. And it's like, really? I don't know. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed and have a good Friday evening, everybody. Don't go crazy. Check out Canadagraphs on his website. Check him out on Twitter. He likes to take down people who use his images illegally without his. I
don't like to. It just is a thing that has to happen.
I think you take joy in the fact when they get taken down.
It's not actually true. Sometimes there are the ones that are just being like complete assholes, and they know they're being assholes, and all that. Yeah, there's some I do take joy in finally seeing them be taken down, but 90% of the time, I'm just like, man, just learn your lesson from this. I'm not looking for someone to get taken down on a first strike. There's been 2 or 3 people now who've gotten taken down on a first strike on Twitter. They've come to me and they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, I don't make the rules. Twitter makes those rules. I don't agree with it. I'll see what I can do. But the ones that are kind of doing it just out of spite and they even brag about it, go ahead, take them down. You know, I've even with a couple of them, I've strategized how to take them down. Like I'll put in the first DMCA notice, wait for that to go through so that they have that strike on them, then go for the second one, just so, you know, in case the first one didn't work, get them again for the second one. I've got a database of stuff for a couple of users that eventually they're going to get taken down one way or the other. But yeah. But most of the time, I'm just trying to teach the person some rules. Like, I understand if you're 14 and you're a fan, you might not know, but you have to learn, you know?
Well, I remember like I had posted photos that you had posted a while back, and someone had commented, "Watch out, Canadagraphs come after you," and then you respond like, "No, he followed the guideline." Like he's like what? It's like. And then I think I even tagged you in that post and said, "Thanks, Canadagraphs, for these photos." And I was like, "Watch out, he'll come after you." I'm like, No,
People just don't read. That's the problem.
He made it clear as day, guys. Come on.
80% of what I go through is just people that don't want to read a couple of paragraphs. Like
it's so clear. It's so clear. Yeah. But yeah.
All right.
I will end this now. Hope you guys had a great evening.
I'll let you go. I just got to start my claim for this video, and I'll see you later.